Today I'm gonna find out what it's like to be in the womb. But not actually. Today I'm trying an isolation tank slash float tank slash sensory deprivation tank slash floatarium. Float tanks are definitely having a moment. All my friends are talking about them. I've seen a lot about them online. If you guys don't know, float tanks are a little tank pod thing that's full of Epsom salts, so you float. There's only about 1 foot of water, and the air is supposed to be the same temperature as the water, that is supposed to be the same temperature kind of as your body, so it feels like there's nothing there. When I was looking online for places where I could float in my city, I also saw that it could be covered by insurance because it kind of is like a therapy. It's technically a hydrotherapy if you combine it with a short massage by an RMT, something like that. So I called my insurance company to see if I was covered.
Okay, thanks so much for holding.
Hi.
I was just able to find for hydrotherapy, this is something that is not eligible for reimbursement under the plan.
No? Okay. Damn it. Yeah, no luck there. So that's okay. I'm gonna be fronting the cost for this myself. And there are a slew of kind of benefits, muscle relaxation, chronic pain, stuff like that. Today I'd be going mostly for meditation, just to relax, meditate, refocus myself. Float tanks are usually in a spa-like atmosphere, so you know, you kind of get your slippers and a robe and you lock yourself in a locker, and then you kind of go into the room where you would normally maybe get a massage or a treatment, but instead you're doing the float tank. There's a couple things I know about the float tank process. First up, I know you're supposed to go to the loo so that you don't have to while you're floating for an hour. Next up, get naked, or just kidding, you don't have to. You can also wear a bathing suit, but if you want that full maybe womb experience, you can get naked, but for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna keep my bathing suit on. But then you hop in a shower because just like any kind of pool or public thing like that, you're gonna wanna rinse off and get ready for your experience. And then they also give you earplugs because the Epsom salts can get in your ears. It also helps with kind of like the sensory deprivation thing, not hearing. And then you just hop into the tank and float your worries away. Okay, so let's talk about this float. I found the whole thing kind of like this weird experience. You kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know if you're dreaming or sleeping or just awake and thinking. It's kind of like meditation. I was trying to, you know, keep a blank mind and just kind of like reverse and focus on myself. That can be hard to do sometimes when you're like antsy and anxious, and I haven't been really keeping up with my meditation, so this is the first time I've meditated in a couple of weeks. At some points I started to feel like the whole world was like turning like this, but also sometimes that happens to me occasionally when I'm just like lying in bed and not fully sleeping and not fully awake. So I don't know if I just like have vertigo or something. I don't know if that happens to other people or if that's just my experience. And at some points I was just moving kind of like side to side in the tank. It like felt like I was moving and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna bump into something, I'm gonna bump into something. Sometimes I did bump into the wall, like I hit my head or like my like foot would touch the wall. But a lot of the times where I felt like I was like really moving, I wasn't actually moving that much, which was kind of a cool feeling. The first time I opened up my eyes after having them shut for a couple of minutes, I had a mini freak out because it was kind of like one of those moments where you're like, wait, I forget where I am, can't find the handle, and I'm trying to find the light, and I'm super disoriented, but then I found it and it was okay. But throughout that process, I got Epsom salt water in my eye, and that really stung. I would do whatever you can to not get the water in your eye because it stings, and they had fresh water there that you could like spray your face with and a little towel, but that didn't really help that much. Honestly, my eye stung for like the rest of the float tank experience, so that kind of sucked. And I also got it in my mouth, and the taste, it was just like a horrible taste. I was like trying to spit it out like into this towel. At one point, it also felt like I was kind of like slouching a bit. Like it felt like my back was like lower than my neck, and I really wanted that like straight float feeling. So they did have a neck pillow that you can put under your neck to kind of help with that. So I ended up using that for the rest of the float as well. At one point I kind of forgot that I had toes, like limbs. Like I had to wiggle my toes to remember that they were there. I think that was just part of the whole like floating. The air is kind of the same temperature as the water. That's kind of the whole point of the float tank. So yeah, I just remember laying there at one point and I was like, do I have toes? I wiggled my toes and I was like, oh, I did, good. Also, I didn't think I was hungry before, and I was like, it's fine, I don't need to eat anything. But it's a good idea to maybe eat at least something, because even though I wasn't hungry before, towards the end, my stomach started growling. And even the smallest growl will distract you because it's so quiet in there, and this is like, you feel it, you hear it, and I even feel like it echoed, even though it probably wasn't echoing because I had my earplugs in, and even when the alarm went off at the end, which it does to signal that you're done, it's like a very soft, subtle alarm, but even when that went off, I could barely hear it. So I'm thinking about it now, and I must have just like, it felt like it was echoing, but it wasn't actually echoing. It was just like echoing inside my body. I don't know. You can feel your growl, you can hear your growl. You can even hear like your eyes blink, which again, can you though? Because you're wearing earplugs. Whoa. Maybe it's just like you feel hearing your eyes blink. Any sound is like very intensified in the pod. So like I said, towards the end of your float, at least at this place, a little soft alarm will go off. It'll kind of be like a little chimey ding. And then you get out and you have to shower all of that salt water off. Like my forehead, like places that I had the water, like were like crusted in salt. So you have to like really wash that off. But afterwards, my skin feels so good. I mean, that's a big plus. You feel relaxed afterwards, but I do think that the whole experience is like meditation, where, I don't know about you, but if you meditate or if you have meditated, or maybe this is your experience with meditation, but the first time you do it, you're kind of like, what is this? I don't like this. I have to sit still. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then after you do it slowly, you're kind of like, oh, this is good for me. I understand the benefits. It's helping me, I'm more focused, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like sensory deprivation or the float tank is kind of like that, where you might need to do it a little bit, practice it to really get the hang of it and feel the benefits of it, other than just your skin feeling nicer. I don't know if you guys had this question, but I was curious about how clean it is. Like, I'm like, I don't wanna float in somebody else's bath water. They do filter the water. It goes through like UV light, and the Epsom salts help keep it naturally bacteria free. But yeah, think of it more like this like small pool that's getting filtered versus a bathtub that you need to drain every time, because they don't drain every time. That'd be a little bit wasteful. Pretty clean. The whole thing was like a spa experience, where spas can be kind of gross or they can be really clean. This place was super clean. Like everything felt brand new, wiped down, very nice. How much did it cost? This place was $69 before tax for one single float. With tax and tip, it was like over $80. I don't know, I felt like that was a little bit steep. This was for a 1 hour experience plus a little bit of shower time for in the beginning and the end. I mean, at that point, I'm kind of like, why wouldn't you just... No, I get it. It's like a different experience. You're enclosed, you know, it's supposed to be quieter, obviously, than maybe if you had a bathtub at your own place, especially if you can't lie down flat in your own bathtub, or if you don't have a bathtub. A lot of people in the city don't. But I feel like towards $80 per float is a little bit expensive. I've noticed that a lot of the sensory deprivation or float tank places have packages where they'll try to group in like 3 or give you a membership, and that cuts down each float in like almost half as far as the price goes. Then you're kind of like committed, and maybe you can try it again and again, where I said it might take a while for you to get used to it. I think that's why they do that. Something also interesting to note, the place that I went to also had open concept tanks. So they weren't a pod, they didn't have a lid. It was kind of just like a smaller room with a really big tub, and it was open. There was like no lid. I don't know if you would feel the humidity as much and the same kind of air water temperature that you do feel in the pod, but I honestly did find the pod a little bit cumbersome. It was just like really hard to get used to, and I'm like opening and shutting this thing, and it was such a weird new experience that I found it hard to relax, because I'm just like, what is going on? This is so new. When I was checking out at the end, there was another gentleman there who had just done the open concept float. He's previously tried the pod float, and he was like, I just think that the open concept is easier. It's not like it's really any different. And the woman who actually worked there was like, yeah, I prefer the open concept as well. So, food for thought. Overall, I'm not sure if I'd do it again. I feel like I have to do it again, maybe just to give the whole experience justice and kind of like really relax, not have to worry about filming, although I only filmed like a little bit in the beginning, a little bit in the end. You know, you have good days, you have bad days, you have meditation days, you have days where you don't meditate. Definitely subscribe to our vlog channel, and I'll keep you guys updated there if I go for another float. I want to know about your guys' sensory deprivation experiences or float tank experiences. Do you have any tips or tricks or other relaxation techniques that we should all try? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to this channel and the vlog channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.